Welcome to Storytimer at Large. Debra Marie Gomez. Debra Marie Gomez was 16. She lived at 4160 Dearborn in Indiana Harbor. She was born on January 3, 1956, to Ramiro Flores and Irene Gomez Trimolt. She was a student at Washington High School and attended Our Lady of Guadalupe Catholic Church. She had two brothers, Mario and Derek Flores, and a sister, Ursula Trimolt. She had a large extended family in the neighborhood. Debra was a member of the Catherine House Club. Indiana Harbor is sometimes lumped in with East Chicago, called East Chicago. It's home to an active and proud Hispanic community. In 1970, Washington High School students protested the racist comments of a school official with a school boycott that made national headlines. Sunnyside Park is a small park at Dearborn and 141st Street in East Chicago, Indiana Harbor. In the colder weather months, it hosts a skating rink. On Tuesday, December 19th, 1972, Debra was there at the skating rink, as were a lot of other people. It would have been a fun place to go and enjoy that evening. It probably was getting close to, if not already, Christmas break, so all the high schoolers would have been out of school or getting close to being out of school. That evening, December 19th, 1972, Debra was raped and murdered near a warming house of the skating rink. She had been strangled and had head trauma that indicated a serious beating. Her breasts also had bite marks. She was found partially clothed. Another article said she was found completely nude. This is the work of a vicious but also very reckless killer. This park is very small, just a little postage stamp of a park, and there are houses all around it. It's not filled with lots of trees and shrubs and other greenery that you could hide in. It's really just a tiny patch of green, and that park would have been really busy with lots of other people at the skating rink. So this is a killer who was very brazen and not, this is somebody who did not have good impulse control. This is a serious predator. Sadly, Debra's death only garnered a few short news articles in the paper, and I cannot find a photo of her on the internet either. And I'd really like to have an actual photo. I just used a silhouette here to represent her, but it helps get more attention on cases if you have an actual photo. And Isidore Steelman Serrano was arrested, tried, and convicted of her murder. He had made a joke about having killed her sometime after the murder. Don't know exactly when, but there are some irregularities with this. The eyewitness who placed him at the scene said later that she was pressured to testify in order to get out of a burglary charge that she was facing. After his arrest, Isidore Serrano was confined to an institution to be evaluated. He was not mentally fit to stand trial initially. Later, he was eventually tried and convicted in 1975. He was sentenced to life in prison. His conviction would be appealed in 1977, but he would lose that appeal. In 1981, he again appealed, citing ineffective counsel. In 2011, Serrano had a parole hearing, but it was denied. In 2021, Serrano had another parole hearing, and I think that he might have been paroled then, but I haven't found confirmation of that. Serrano might have been convicted, but I have doubts as to his guilt. Why? because I know of a vicious child killer who lived in the area. In 1973, just the following year, that vicious child killer would be convicted of a brutal abduction, rape, and murder of a 12-year-old girl named Carrie Louise Duncan. Raul Rudy Sotelo lived near 11th and Colfax on Dallas Street in Gary. He had a long history of violent attacks on classmates and even his own mother. In 1973, he was convicted of murdering Carrie. Part of the evidence against him was the blood and tissue left on the underside of his car. He murdered her by running her over several times after raping her. He was so reckless and so confident that he wouldn't be caught that he didn't even bother to wash the car. That seems like what I like to think of as spiraling out. I really have trouble believing that Carrie Duncan was his first murder victim. It seems like he's sort of at the end of a spree at that point. When he was arrested, he was only 18, but he was married and had a 10-month-old son. Many people married young then. I wonder if people thought that marriage would help him to settle down. That was a thing people often thought then, that if someone was really outrageous, if they just got married, they'd settle down. Raul Rudy Sotelo's child would have been born in November or early December in 1972, right around the time that Debra Marie Gomez was murdered. Sotelo worked at U.S. Steel when he was arrested. We do know that he did work at U.S. Steel, and even after he was arrested, he was allowed to work somewhere. He had a strange history. At a certain point, he actually was a trustee, even after viciously murdering young 12-year-old Carrie Duncan. He was given trustee status and was allowed to go to work, and he escaped at a certain point. He was brought back after escaping, and then continued to serve time. When he was incarcerated in, I believe it was in Peru, Indiana, he slashed a guard across the face with a homemade knife and almost killed the guard. Luckily, the guard lived, and he was given an extra 33 years on his life sentence then. Could he have killed Debra Gomez? Maybe. Her murder was an especially vicious one, and we know that he was an especially vicious murderer. Why would he have gone to Indiana Harbor? Well, it's not that far away from Gary, and the neighborhood had a big Latino population. Maybe he had relatives or friends there. Maybe he knew he could socialize and meet people there. Maybe the ice skating rink was full of young people and music. Why not go? It sounds like a great time. Carrie Duncan's murder was viciously done, much like Debra Marie Gomez's murder. I also suspect Sotelo in the murder of Annie Jean Powell, which happened a block from his house and 12 days after Debra Marie Gomez's murder. Additionally, I think he's responsible for the murders of Brenda Banaski and Christine Sykes. I have videos and blog posts about all of those young women. I know Debra's murder is considered to be solved, but I have doubts. If evidence was preserved in this case, I think they should take a stronger look at Raul Rudy Sotelo. Were Debra's fingernails clipped? Did they save those fingernail clippings? If not, is it possible to retrieve DNA from her killer, potentially from under her fingernails? Debra was just 16. She didn't get to experience the thrill of getting dressed up to go to prom. She didn't get to graduate from high school with her class. She didn't get to go to college or start a career. Her whole life was stolen from her. She deserved so much more. Rest in peace, Debra Marie Gomez.